So it's safe to say that one of the biggest surprises in the NBA so far this year is not how well the Los Angeles Lakers are playing, not how well Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs have been playing, but how well one Deni Avdija has actually been playing for the Portland Trailblazers. Dare I say, Deni is actually putting up all-star numbers. We're going to get into what were the Washington Wizards actually thinking when they decided to actually trade away Deni Avdija. We're going to talk about what could go down as one of the worst trades in the NBA in recent years. Of course, not as bad as the Luka Doncic trade, but when you consider the two players that the Washington Wizards actually ended up with, one of them played a handful of games for the Wizards and then just flat out decided to retire from the league entirely. The other one, well, he's averaging less than 10 points a game. We'll get into that. You know, there's this famous saying, and I just want to lay this out there for you. It's, history belongs to the people willing to look foolish long enough for the world to actually catch up. And that is exactly what the Washington Wizards should have done with Deni. They should have given him a 5th and 6th year with the Washington Wizards, because what Deni is now doing with the Portland Trailblazers just puts even more egg on the face of the entire management of the Washington Wizards. Welcome back to the NBA Rundown, as always, North America. I'm Dave Dabbah, and I bring you daily NBA news, trade reports, trade rumors, and of course a bunch of commentary, as you might imagine. Hey, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. We're about to clear 2,600 subscribers on the channel, and I want to thank everybody out there for all of your support. But Deni has just been absolutely awesome since he made his way to the Portland Trailblazers, and specifically the second half of last season, and of course what we've seen from Deni so far this season. I'm pulling up some numbers for you so you can actually see them, and these are essentially all-star numbers. Deni has 25.8 points a game, 7.1 rebounds, 6.3 assists, and his three-point shooting percentage is at 37.2 at this point. Those are absolutely good enough to be all-star numbers for Deni at this point. Now, I'm going to give you my, if you will, scouting report on Deni. Now, Deni is great at several things, and one of the things that he's absolutely fantastic at, and I encourage you to hunt down a Portland Trailblazers game and watch it, and this is what you'll actually see. Deni is actually great at going downhill. Deni is actually great at running the full court. He might not be the fastest person on the court, but he certainly picks up a head of steam once he gets going. On top of that, Deni also, and watch the video, and I'm playing some of this for you, Deni also has a 6'9" frame, and he loves to actually absorb contact with that frame. It is a huge advantage that Deni has in the way he actually plays using his 6'9" frame. He's turned into, at this point, a really good spot-up shooter. 37% from the three-point arc. You can't laugh at that, especially from a 6'9" forward. But on top of it, he's actually playing like a point guard. He can handle the ball, he can dribble the ball, and more importantly than all of that, I think, is that he's really great at actually being a playmaker. At this point, at this stage of the season, 6.3 assists for Deni, which is where he's at. That is nearly 2.5 assists more than in his best year, which was last year with the Portland Trailblazers, where he had 3.9 assists a game. To say that Deni is the most improved player in the NBA might be the right statement. To say that Deni has the kind of game that deserves a all-star recognition, I think is highly likely and probably should happen. Now, we know that the all-star thing can be a little bit competitive and there can be some politics with it. but Deni certainly has earned it as far as I'm concerned. These numbers are absolutely fantastic. Once again, 25.8 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 6.3 assists. When you compare what he did early in his career, he's gone from 6.3 points, 8.4 points, 9.2 points, 14.7 points. In his last year with the Washington Wizards, 14.7 points. In his second year with the Portland Trail Blazers, he's averaging nearly 26 points a game. But it's not just the scoring. He also plays some defense. And on top of it, as I mentioned, he's really great at getting everybody else involved. So you might be wondering, why did the Washington Wizards actually decide to move off of Deni in the first place? And get this, from a contract perspective, this might be the steal of the year in the NBA. He is on the second year of a 4-year, $55 million contract. That's not $55 million per year. That's 4 years at $55 million. Like, if you're an NBA team right now and you need a forward who can do the things that Deni does and is also great at passing the ball, and he wants somebody on the cheap, this is your guy. He's actually making just over $14 million this year, and next year he's actually going to make less. He's actually going to make $13 million, and the year after that he's going to make $11.8 million. I want to know who the hell his agent is, because they did an absolutely horrible job actually getting Deni accurately paid. That being said, when you watch Deni play, and I encourage you all to go do this, and I've been showing you a bunch of highlights throughout tonight's video, but when you watch Deni play, it is amazing that the Washington Wizards, who did get a first-round draft pick and a couple second-round draft picks as well, so we'll just have to see how those all ultimately pan out for the Washington Wizards. But just on the surface, Malcolm Brogdon, who, by the way, is now retired. He played, as I mentioned, a handful of games with the Washington Wizards. Then he decided to retire. He was going to play with the New York Knicks, signed as a free agent, and then just said he was done. Nothing kills a career like the Washington Wizards, I'm just saying. Bub Carrington, who's young and might be experiencing the same thing at this point, is now in his second year in the NBA, and he's actually averaging less points this year than he did last year. You know, when you're a young player in the NBA, you're supposed to improve year after year. Bub is actually going in the opposite direction. He's averaged nearly 10 points a game in his first year in the league, and this year he's averaging 8.2 points per game at this point. And his field goal shooting percentage is actually down from 40% to 37.5%. Look, the Washington Wizards have had egg on their face for a very long time, and they continue to be the place where players go to end their careers. All right, I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are on Deni. Do you believe that Deni deserves, like me, to be an all-star this year? Drop your comments in North America. I want to hear from you. Thanks so much for tuning in to the NBA Rundown. As always, I'm Dave Dabbah, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.